Imagine the Stone Age meets the future. I'm checking out Horizon Zero Dawn 6 years after its release. Of course, if you've been here before, you already know there will be no major story spoilers to worry about in this review. Now, without further ado, let's go.
It is one thing to hunt a beast, another to hunt a machine. You must be humble and respect their power. I will teach you this one day.
We arrive in the 3000s, where the world lies in a post-apocalyptic state where robotic creatures roam and society is set back to a hunter and gatherer likeness. Our protagonist is Aloy. She is an outsider and searches for answers that hold a very large key to finding out her mysterious past, though will also shine a light on her destiny. She reminds me a lot of Lara Croft, honestly, how she is kind of a badass. Obviously, I won't reveal too much, though for the acts of the story, the first one was good, the second one was okay, but the third and final one, wow. It took me about 20 hours to beat, as I didn't really invest a lot of time into the side quests, and they didn't really intrigue me to keep doing them. I didn't really go out of my way to do these tasks either, which is basically what they were. They were just simple tasks where you could collect materials and get upgrades for your gear.
Boring.
If you are a completionist or want to deep dive into it, I could easily see someone spending 60 plus hours on this. Not to even mention the Story Plus option that is unlocked after you beat the game. Another thing I found great about the story was the variety of difficulties offered. 6 of them, in fact. And they even offer one that is story driven, for those who really want to just focus on the story, that don't necessarily want to do other things. I think more games need this. It gives the player more control over what they want to prioritize. If you want to do the story, great. If you want to do the tasks, the side missions, the whole boom shebang, you can do so as well. Horizon Zero Dawn has some very impressive world building, from the weather changing, the different regions, and even down to the robotic creatures that roam around. I've played a good deal of RPGs, and I haven't really encountered one like this yet. For starters, it really is quite something and beautifully designed, though I do have to point out I wasn't the biggest fan of a few things. First off, the fast travel system. When it comes to fast traveling in Horizon Zero Dawn, you must discover campsites. Here you can save the game as well. I don't have an issue with this, as it makes sense. The thing that I got held up on is when it comes to traveling from point A to point B. It will cost you 1 travel pack unless you have the Golden Travel Pack, granting you unlimited travel. I get how games try to differentiate themselves from others, but this call, come on man. I just want to play the game. I don't want to stop and go do a side task to collect specific materials to be able to track down a trader who has the Golden Travel Pack. Points for creativity, but this I could have easily lived without. Next, the mount situation. This game has it where if you play it long enough, you will unlock the potential of hacking different mounts to ride, which is a cool concept. But these mounts are scarce, almost requiring you to go out of your way from one objective to find one. So I found myself really relying on fast travel points, or unfortunately having to run to different objectives on foot. Besides those brief issues, I was impressed with how the world felt and operated. Some of the creatures were a walk in the park when encountered, where some absolutely a nightmare, like the extremely massive beast that tunnels underground and can jump to the surface at a moment's notice.
What? That's horrifying!
When it comes to leveling up and upgrading Aloy's skills as you see fit, it's a very simple skill tree being separated into 3 categories. Prowler, which is for a stealthier approach and combat. Personally, my go-to for upgrades. Brave, more combat skills for damage and accuracy improvement. And finally, Forager, helping with your passive skills, health, and collecting resources. Weirdly enough, there is a 4th category if you do have the Frozen Wilds DLC called Traveler, which helps with mounts and resources too. I happen to have this, as I did this playthrough on the Complete Edition. It was a balanced system, and you could easily get points to invest with by playing the game. Combat, story, whatever it may be, you can level up effortlessly.
You know, not half bad.
Now for the big one, combat. This was a mixture of a hit and a miss. To really make this work, I feel like you had to play on a higher difficulty. If not, the enemies seemed a little too bot-like and oblivious. You could lose an enemy very easily, even though you're right there, or sometimes it seemed like they wouldn't fight back, or when they did, they had aim like a stormtrooper. Where on the other hand, at those higher difficulty settings, enemies could provide quite a challenge where you could die very quickly. You need to hit your shots and play smart, or you may face difficulties along the way. I do admit, the weaponry you get to use is kinda cool. Bows, tripcasters, slingshots, some kind of ooga booga like gun, and a few other tools too. Traps are in there as well. So the game does offer some options where you could get creative on how you face enemies. But like I said, the difficulty plays a factor on whether you'll really enjoy the combat experience or not.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Overall, Horizon Zero Dawn was an enjoyable game. There was some frustrations like I previously mentioned and occasional glitches while playing, but nothing to the extreme of, I can't stand playing this game anymore, I'm through with it. I was a little disappointed, personally, in how weak some of the side missions and task options were, but the story more than made up for it as it was well worth my time. I am looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West making its way to PC in the future, where I will be checking it out. Hopefully, this review helped you in giving some more info, which may help you determine if this game is worth your time and money or not. Please drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what do you think of Horizon Zero Dawn? And as always, make sure to take care of yourself, have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video, which will appear right on the screen here.